or you're using BitTorrent. The principle here is that you are actually engaging in internet communication as it was originally designed. You are able to serve content as well as consume.
Especially after the Napster lawsuit, we saw an emergence of a lot of more decentralized file sharing services. Computer programs that people could run on their own computers that would make them part of the network without having any one place where there's a master list or a master coordination.
What this means is that, in fighting file sharing, the entertainment industry is fighting the fundamental structure of the Internet.
Short of redesigning and re-engineering either the Internet or the devices we use to interact with the Internet, there's nothing that Hollywood or Washington or Brussels or Geneva can do anything about.
They shattered Napster into millions of little pieces spread across computers all around the globe. And now, if you want to shut it down, you have to track down every single one of them and turn it off. And they just can't do that. You know, they send out letters every month trying to shut down a couple here and there, but it just doesn't work. You know, there are just too many. It's out of the bag now. Once it's that far distributed, it's really going to be hopeless.
You can sue people forever. You can sue a handful of college students, university students in the United States. You can sue the investors of Napster, in Napster. You can sue the company that provided the software for Kazaa, but it doesn't shut anything down.
We recognize and we know that we will never stop piracy.
Kazaa lost a big case in the United States in the Supreme Court. Kazaa and Grokster and a set of other companies. So those companies no longer operate, but the network still works. In other words, the interface is still installed on millions of computers and people still use them.
Never stop piracy.
The music industry, if they want to stop file sharing, there's no central computer for them to go to and shut it down. They have to go all the way to the ends of every wire. They have to snip all the cords across the globe.
So when the Pirate Bay got shut down last year and during the raid, Amsterdam Information Exchange, AMSIX, reported that 35% of all the European internet traffic just vanished in a couple of hours.
The files have been shared. There's no way back. You can't. It's not about shutting down BitTorrent. It would be about confiscating everyone's hard drives. The files are out there. They have been downloaded. They're down. There's no up anymore. They're all down.
Never, never, never.
You know, there's nobody you can go to and say, shut down the file sharing. The internet's just not built that way.
We're surrounded by images. Every day, everywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. But the problem with these images is that they're not yours. People's lives are determined by images that they have no rights to whatsoever. And let's say it's a very unfortunate situation.
There's this work of mine that people have described as a series of unattainable women. In fact, it's a series of unattainable images.
The one last mission of cinema is to make sure that images are not seen. That's why we have DRM, copy protection, rights management, region coding, all that stuff. But if an image is seen, then it tells you one thing. It's not your image. It's their image.
You'll never have me.
It's none of your business. Don't copy it, don't modify it, just forget about it. You can't just say, hey, it's just the movies. It is reality. It's a very specific reality of properties.
Radio, television, newspapers, film. At the heart of all of them, there is a very clear distinction between the producer and the consumer. And the idea is a very, very static one, that here is a technology that allows me to communicate to you, but it's not really a conversation that one has in mind.
It used to be if you had a radio station or television station or a printing press, you could broadcast your views to a very large number of people at quite a bit of expense, and a fairly small percentage of the population was able to do that.
The materials were produced by some set of professional commercial producers who then controlled the experience and located individuals at the passive receiving end of the cultural conversation.
I'm John Wayne. We believe in many things, but I'm John Wayne.
If you wanted to change the way the television broadcast network works, good luck. You're going to have to get the majority of the shareholders to agree with you, or you're going to have to replace some very expensive equipment.
In the world of that universe where you needed to get distribution, there were gatekeepers that stood in your way.
I know that there's gatekeepers out there at every level, by the way. Certainly production, funding, exhibition, they can get fucked, as far as I'm concerned.
You would need to satisfy the lawyer for the network or the lawyer for the television station or radio station that what you've done is legal and cleared and permissions have been obtained and probably insurance has been obtained before you could get into the channels of mass media communication.
The number of people who could actively speak was relatively small, and they were organized around one of the only two models we had in the industrial period to collect enough physical capital necessary to communicate, either the state or the market, usually based on advertising.
This is the question that faces us today. If the battle against sharing is already lost, and media is no longer a commodity, how will society change?
Those whose permission was required are resisting this transition, because control is a good thing to get if you can get it.
The control that used to reside in the very making of the artifacts is up for grabs.
Should we expect changes as massive as those of the printing press?
There's plenty of people who are watching, the worst kind of soap opera right now, over the planet, and I can't save them, as hard as I've tried, I can't save them.
But do we need saving? Will there still be a mass-produced and mass-oriented media from which to save us?
Music didn't begin with the phonograph, and it won't end with the peer-to-peer network.
Chipmunk, circular, fucky, ice kid, little D, SQB. We up K, we up suits all day long, it's nothing. We up just, we up Nats, everyone. Alright, listen. And I couldn't give a shit if you're older. This younger's way colder. Give it 10 years, then I'ma be known as a veteran older. I swear down, you'll stay colder. So don't try and tell me you're older. You can be older, I'll be more music. Mixtape promos, everything's out there. So don't try and tell me I don't do this.
The panic of the movie industry and the music industry is that people could actually start to produce, and that file-sharing networks, file-sharing technology enables them to produce stuff.
I do this, I'm colder, better than most that are older. I take out any that are younger. Listen me on, you dumb, you're an idiot. You'll never get this chip off your shoulder. This kid's colder than you were when you were this age. A whole little contest with this page. Please don't play. While you done said that playtime's over. Playtime's over. Playtime's over. 6 years 6, I'm in a playground soldier. Them days were Liverpool and Liverpool G, but now everything is colder. Now it's content roads and everything. Mixtape promos, everything. Won't you name your favorite MC? I write the 60, make him look like anything.
People have lamented much the death of the author. What we're witnessing now is far beyond. It's the becoming producer of former consumers. And that suggests a new economic model for society.
Why? Because I'm going on show. I'm with boss, you're going on show. Like your TV out for the ratings, but my TV out for the dough. In the air, that show. Hey, what we're going on show? So you put man, pay me a bill, no less. I want the vibe to run down the show, no.
It is not so much the fact that the Phantom Menace is downloaded 500 times or 600 times, etc. Yeah, of course, there is, an imaginary specter of economic loss that informs that. But the real battle or the real threat lies in a shift in the ways that we think of the possibilities of ourselves as creators and not merely as consumers.
It's like a whole network. This is a song that I've given out, and I've let people download it, and they can download it, do what they want. I've made a blog about it. So